Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to one of our high-level Marvel Rivals ranked cast. Today, we're heading to Peni T'Challa. There's nothing special about this game that I sought out. It just looked like fun from the players that are in it. We got Cringe Alarm, who was very nearly an Ignite player. We've got Gonski, who was an Ignite player. Wolver, who was an Ignite player. We have Rosa, who is the substitute for Low 9. We've got a lovely little bit of variation here. Master Shifu, who I've been seeing in so many of the replays that I have been scrolling through, at least up to now. Let's see what we get. Simple. I like going into some of these a little blind, so I guess you guys will see via whatever clickbait I put on the thumbnail, maybe a little preview of what's happening in this game. So, let's have a look at what we're seeing here. Already the Wolverine being banned out. This game is being recorded on the 23rd. Also, I'll say this early. No video tomorrow. I will be out of town and a bit busy, so if you do not see a video, that is why. So, we're heading in.
Or villain, I'm not judging.
Loki and Black Panther as the final bans. Looking at this, we're seeing 2-2-2s across the board for all of these teams so far, although currently there's a little bit of indecision on the blue team as to who gets the Invisible Woman. There we go. Indra will take the Lunar Snow. Yeah, standard 2 Vanguard, 2 Duelist, 2 Strategist coming in for a lot of these teams. I realize I say that standard a fair amount. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense, but let me explain this while we're here, while we're waiting in the spawn. No, wait, introduce the players first. Do the right order, Chris. On the left-hand side, in the blue trunks, Ninja Crawler will be playing the Phoenix Wolver. On the Magneto, Legolas will be playing the Psylocke, Indra playing Lunar Snow, TTV Cringe Alarm will be on the Hulk, and Legend, I don't know my Roman numerals enough, but they are here on the Invisible Woman. And on the right-hand side, in the red trunks, it is Master Shifu playing the Psylocke, L9 Rosa playing the Emma Frost. We have Dion on the Phoenix, Migu 2K playing the Lunar Snow, Aimbot Zephy on the Magneto, and Gonski will be bringing out the Cloak and Dagger. So as the teams begin their early clash, to explain I always talk about standard setups and stuff like that. In the majority of games, you're going to be wanting 2 Vanguards. The reason for this is you are going to be needing if one to actually hold the front line and one to protect the back line if anyone makes it past the first one, or at least to swap and juggle, as we do see Cringe Alarm getting taken down. If you take too much damage as a Vanguard, you need to back up, you need to get healing, meaning you need a second person to take the brunt of the shots off you. This is where you will see a little bit of that juggling in order to get a little bit of extra protection, which is why you will often see 2 Vanguards. When you don't see 2 Vanguards, it's almost always with someone like a Wolverine, because they fill the role of hitting that second target by, instead of giving you the ability to juggle who is taking the damage, the ability to break your opponent's lines and stop them from capitalizing with the crowd control, the ability to isolate targets. So that's why you'll sometimes see a solo Vanguard, but oftentimes you will be seeing it more as just making sure you have one to protect the other and to protect the back line and the front line. And Song Inferno drop down from above off the wall to guarantee the hit onto Ninja Crawler as Dion is absolutely popping off right now as they push on in. Rosa, even with the silent seduction, try and capitalize. Indra keeping the team alive. You'll often also normally see 2 strategists on a team. The reasoning for that is who's going to heal the first strategist if they take damage. You need someone to protect. You sometimes need 2 defensive ultimates just in case something like this happens. If a Dance of the Butterfly happens when Indra, for example, does not have their Fate of Both Worlds, then they are going to get absolutely obliterated. If you have 2 strategists, then you're going to be able to drop a second defensive ultimate to counteract the second Duelist, and you're going to be able to sustain on through. Good blow up onto Legolas there, who swapped over to the Namor. This is why in the majority of compositions, when you see someone swapping off, the majority of the time, it will not be the duelist. The duelists will, when you see someone swap off, it will often be the duelist. This is because the duelists are the ones who can be sacrificed the easiest. You can easily do enough damage with a good Vanguard, as long as they're protected, don't worry as much about defenses. Even strategists can sometimes do a little bit of damage in the form of a in the form of a Ultron, or potentially an Adam Warlock. You can swap out and defend very effectively. So the majority of the time, if you're looking to run a 3 in anything, you take from the duelists. You do not take from the Vanguards, and you definitely do not take from the strategists. There are exceptions to this rule. There are some fantastic triple duelist compositions. We've already mentioned with the Wolverine setup with Magneto, sometimes with the Human Torch as a little bit of a follow-up for that. Maybe a Punisher, for example, to help burn through opposing frontliners. There is a great amount of adjustment there. But this is what I mean when I talk about standard compositions. You will almost always see a 2-2-2 because that's the safest. Sometimes you will see a 3-1-2. The order of that is always Vanguard, Duelist, Strategist. So you'll sometimes see a 3-1-2 or a 2-1-3. You will almost never see a 1-3-2 or a 2-3-1, because those compositions will almost always get out-sustained and out-burst, but there are exceptions to that rule. I hope that makes sense to people. I'm sure a lot of people who watch my channel know this because I've been on about it before, but I feel that's the most... I've basically made myself my TikTok for later by going into detail about that. Already the lead for Red Team. Master Shifu already being charged up with that Dancing Butterfly to potentially dive the backline and get an early pickup. Indra has the Fate of both worlds, but that's a big cooldown to burn. If Master Shifu wants to try and pull the trigger, pushing on in. Fate of both worlds going to be burned without even dropping the ultimate. It's going to be baited out by Rosa with the Psionic Seduction to try and push on in. Here comes that magic to try and give them a little bit of turnaround. Cringe Alarm is in their spawn. And, oh no, the points are a little bit too far. It's still going to be a pickup, but oopsie daisy, little bit off point there, little bit off angle. Excuse me, just went down a little bit. They found Cringe Alarm. They've worked it out. This is the pickup. This is something that Cringe Alarm is so good at. This flanking Penny, and they're out of there. Able to get out of danger. Not able to get the pick up. They get Master Shifu, though, on the respawn. Wolver, in the meantime, is buying a little bit of time trying to take the point back. They've created a huge distraction. Ensong Inferno from Dion. Magic point blank, but it's going to be Legend who's going to eat the shot and get taken down. Legolas drop their own as well. Cringe Alarm takes down Gonski. Rosa falls, and it looks like Blue Team will actually get the flip here. Flanking Penny. We've seen it a little bit in Ignite. We've seen it a little bit in MRC. Cringe Alarm is one of the players who really started to bring this out the most. Playing this very much more aggressive style of Penny, but defend when needed. If you can't take people in a head-up fight, then flank in a little bit of a distraction potentially. It takes a lot of practice to know when to do this though, and when not to be a burden on your team by walking off and leaving them a number down. Rosa on the high ground. Dion a little bit behind them. Magic coming on in. Telekinesis will give a little bit of a distraction here. A little bit of CC if needed, as in comes Ninja Crawler up to the high ground. Down, not finding much with this Dark Child at all here. Media M from Aimbot takes out Legend once again. And Cringe Alarm is extremely outnumbered. They're going to be backing up. They know that their team is about to get cleaned out. So they're heading to the spawn. Going to try and set up another trap. Hopefully their team can get a pickup. They can now rejoin their team once they've been picked up. Steal your opponent's resources. No one went down on the side of Red Team. So this is an investment for later. Legolas sending in the shots. Trying to create an opening against Zephyr. Lockdown. Fate of both worlds from Indra for the commitment, but with Legend already down, this is a little bit rough. Ensong Inferno from Legolas. Waiting it out. Phoenixes just countered back and forth. Neither one finding a target, but Legolas as a Master Shifu gets a huge blow up. Ninja Crawler has moved off the magic onto the Winter Soldier to try and create a little bit of disruption. We're at 75% versus 59%, but blue team starting to take the numbers advantage here. They're trying to create an opening. Pushing on forward. Cringe alarm went down. We're not seeing any mind pickups here, so it's either already gone or they've been outplayed. The illusion! That's not the real Magneto. Able to outplay that aimbot. Getting focused down, but the healing output is still coming in. Zarnik seduction for Rosa. They're pulling the trigger with Dance and the Butterfly in the backline. It's a massacre as we're seeing Red Team claiming the point. Warrior Falls goes over to the red team, as does the series, and that is GG. Nicely done, red team. The classic Emma Magneto frontline. Ever since Emma's come out, this has been one of the more dominant frontline setups. It has crowd control, they have a team up, the damage output's really good because Mag and Emma both have really solid damage output vanguards. It just did the job. Cringe Alarm getting SVP there with 8 final hits, literally double anyone else on their team. And then we look at the top numbers. 23 and 2 for Rosa. Nicely done. Least amount of times getting picked off, though, will be aimbot Zephy, only getting KO'd 1 time. Top damage is quite close, actually. No one above the 10s. It's going to be 14k. I guess the teens, technically. Going to be 14k for Dion. Just beating out the 13k of Rosa. Top damage blocked. 21k for Wolver. Just beating out aimbot Zephy. The Magnetos trading back and forth there. Followed by Rosa and then Cringe Alarm. Only 2k behind, which is the difference between Rosa and Zephy, give or take. So they did keep up, even though they were flanking a fair amount of that game. And top healing, 26k for Indra, giving everything they could to try and turn that round. But you can see there's a little bit of a gap there with Legend. That it might not be because of skill or anything like that. It might be in a similar way if you look at Migu, that they were targeted real hard. And because they were on the board less, they were healing less. And that's not anything really down to their skill. It's because Meteor M was targeted on them almost exclusively. We also saw a lot of times where Master Shifu's in the backline looking for the quick blow-ups. Ninja Crawler's going to be looking for the quick blow-ups. It was all about just seeing if they could get these isolations and these eliminations. That's a phone call in terrible timing. Let me pause. Sorry about that, everyone. That was very poor timing. I usually have that muted, but I guess it's turned itself back on with a Windows update. But yeah, that is the end of today's cast. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all very much for watching. Reminder, if you enjoy these casts, you can like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Ring that notification bell so you can see when the casts go up. Reminder, there isn't one tomorrow because I'll be out of town, so I'll be a little busy, sadly. There also is going to be probably a couple days in the future where I might not have casts done just because I'm literally out of time. It's the week before I go. Speaking of which, it's announced I'm going to China. I will be hosting the desk for the Marvel Rivals Ignite Mid-Season Finals, along with some incredible talent, a lot of my colleagues from EMEA. There's a load of people you've seen on this channel who will be there as well. We got Leg Day, Moxie, we have, I don't think I've actually got any of the American casters yet, so we don't have any one of them, but we've also got Avatar Liger, so we've got some lovely people to go with, and of course, people who've not been on the channel, I run Shib, Cozy, we have Dogman Dustin, we have Mello, I'm pretty sure I got that the right way around, so that should be fun, so make sure to also follow the Marvel Rivals Twitch channel. You can also support the channel by hitting that join button and becoming a member. When I am able to get ahead of the game, you will get early access to videos, which is always nice. You will get potential behind the scenes from the mid-season finals. I can now say that because I'm going to attempt to film a little bit behind the scenes, as long as I, don't annoy my co-workers too much. And of course, you can get your name shouted out in videos like these wonderful people. Odium, Arso, Doki Pokey, and John. Thank you all very much for your support. Sorry for the phone call once again. I have been Tetcher, and I will see you all tomorrow. Wait, no, not tomorrow. I already said no tomorrow. I'll see you all soon. See you all in a bit.